All right, welcome to Large Program 4. In this video, this is the inventory program. We're going to talk about the requirements for Large Program 4. So the first thing, let's load up the document about the program. So in this program, you're going to be using structures and you're going to manage an array of structures. So let's just look at the example here. The code will be called inventory.c, and you're going to write a menu which is going to continue to ask the user to the following information: P to print the inventory list onto the screen, A to add a new entry, C to clear all records, S to create a report, which basically means to create an output file and save the information to the output file, D to delete an item from the list, and U to update one of the fields. And you cannot update the ID because each item in your list is going to have a unique ID. So you're going to use a user-defined struct to do this, and you can use whatever you want. The example that I'm going to use will be student, so I'm going to make another video with some examples on how to proceed with this program, but this is just an overview. So you want to use 2 character arrays or strings, and 2 integers and 2 doubles. All right, so you must make 10 user-defined functions, and you must put 6 items into your list to start off. And again, more details will be in another video on how to do that. So get started as soon as possible. Do not wait to the last minute to do this assignment. And here are the functions you need: a function that greets the user, a function that puts the 6 items into your list, a function that runs the menu, a function that prints the contents of the list onto the screen, a function that prints the report to the file, or basically makes an output file, a function to add 1 item to your list, a function to display all the IDs in the list, a function to search through the list, a function to remove an item from the list, and a function to update something. It could be the sale price, but it can't be the ID. So the best way to understand what's going on would be to take a look at the assignment. Now, I have these 2 examples here. One example accepts input with white space. For example, you can download these and try them out. So if you are going to use the Foo Fighters, you can put Foo space Fighters and it will accept it. However, for your assignment, you will not be graded with any string input that has a white space in it. So this is the better example right here because this is what you will be graded with. And I gave it to you so you can try it, and you can see that if you try to input a string with white space, it will do weird things. So the best thing and the best way to get started would be to open up the executable here and try it out and then see what it's like. All right, so here's it gets started, and there's a welcome to the user, a greeting of course, and I have decided to use songs for my list, but in the example that I'm going to write, I'm going to do an example with student. So these are the options. I can print the list onto the screen, I can add a new song to the list, I can clear all the records in my list, I can create a report, I can delete a song from the list, or I can update the price of one of the songs. So I'm going to, or I can quit. So if I hit P, what happens is it's going to print out, let me make this window a little bigger. It's going to print out what is in my list. And I've already filled my list with 6 items. So I have to make this window a little bigger, and hopefully you can see them here. So I've already filled my list with 3 songs, and on purpose, I picked songs that have space in their name. So example, the song Nice to Know You, I have chosen to not deal with white space. The best way to deal with white space for this assignment is to have strings that do not have white space, and when you use scanf with %s, you be sure to put the space between the quotation and the %s, and when you use scanf with %c, be sure to put the space between the quotation and the %c. That says to scanf to ignore white space. Scanf does not work very well with white space, and you will run into problems because when you hit the enter key is also a space. So the first thing you're going to do when you just create this program is to create the menu, the one that allows you to enter something. And once you've checked and your loop and your menu is working properly, then you're going to fill your list with 6 items. So you can pick whatever you want to fill your list with. I've just chosen to pick songs, and I've chosen to have an ID. Each one of my songs has a unique ID. I have an artist, a song title, an integer for the length of the song, and a double for the cost and the double for the retail price. So after I print the list, then I can try all of the features, and I encourage you to try all of the features. For example, I can add an item to my list. So when you add an item to the list, you're going to add each field one by one. So you enter the title of the song. I will enter the song is Walk. The artist is the Foo Fighters. If you notice, I am not dealing with white space, and I will show you what happens in a minute, and you're welcome to try it with the white space. The ID, 234. The length of the song, it doesn't really matter. The cost of the song is 99 cents, and the retail price is $2.99. All right, so now how do I check if that's been added? I hit P, and now I have 7 items in my list. All right, and the other thing I could do is I can save it to a file. When I hit save, what happens is my report is going to be created, and it's going to, in my downloads file, I should now have a report that has been created. I have a lot of things in my downloads, but I should have a report now that has been created by my program. Let's go to the date. And there it is. So if you see the report has all of my information about my songs in it. So that's all that the S does. If I hit D, now take a look here at my items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this song right here, item number 4. And what's going to happen when I delete item number 4, it's not going to stay in order, but item number 7 is going to replace where item number 4 is, and then the number of items in my list is going to go down by 1. So when I hit the delete, I have the option here. Now you're not required to put the song titles or the book titles. You can use songs or books or students or flowers or game systems, whatever you want, and you're not required to put the information. But I think it makes it much easier to understand. And if I just have a list of IDs, it's hard to know which one I want to delete. So I'm going to delete number 123. And so I chose to delete number 123. And now when I print, you will notice that there are now, instead of 7 items in my list, there are now 6. And Budapest has been deleted. And when it got deleted, the Foo Fighters Walk, replaced it. So I'm not maintaining an order in my list. All right, so to clear the list, and if I go to print it, now my list is empty. And to queue, it quits, and it quits normally. So what you really want to do is just make sure that you understand what's happening, and then you can start to take a look at the steps.